Never, and I mean never in my life, have I seen a situation quite like this where a head coach is telling players they got to enter the transfer portal or quit the team. As bad as it looks over there for Texas A&M, and as bad as it's currently going for Jimbo Fisher, Bryan, Harsin, and Auburn, they're not too far behind. The SEC is by far the best conference, it's not even close, but also to go along with that, it's also the most entertaining at this current moment in time. In yesterday's video, we talked about the breaking news that was going on where Jimbo Fisher suspended 4 Texas A&M players. If you haven't seen that video, feel free to check it out. That situation is still ongoing, and we got a new update, and we're going to talk all about that. Meanwhile, though, while all this nonsense and drama is going on with Texas A&M, Auburn's having their own problems. Luckily enough for Auburn, since Texas A&M is in the headlines, nobody's talking about this too much, but I'm going to bring it to light. And what I'm going to bring to light about Auburn is that their head coach, Bryan Harsin, is essentially making players enter the transfer portal or quit the team. When I first saw this, I said there's no way, you got to be kidding me, he can't get away with this. But hey, he's the head coach, I guess he can get away with it. I don't know, you guys, you're going to have to let me know your thoughts down below. We've got a ton of stuff to get into, and it's going to be a good one. It's a jam-packed video just like always. We're on the road to 300K, so if you like football content, consider subscribing. If you don't want to, that's cool too. All right, Matt, blah, 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 shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. First thing is first, we got to talk about the newest update with A&M, and for those of you that didn't see yesterday's video, I'll give you a brief summary. To make a long story short, Jimbo Fisher, he announced it, or it got leaked out there, that he has suspended 3 to 4 players for doing you-know-what before the game against South Carolina. As to why these players thought it'd be okay to do that, I don't know, it's unacceptable, but like I said, if you want my thoughts and more details on it, go watch yesterday's video. Oh yeah, gotta throw this in there because it's very important. Guess what class all those players that got suspended were in? 2022, aka the #1 class of all time. And guess what? All of those players had NIL deals. It just goes to show you the NIL, yeah, it can be good, but it can also be bad, and with A&M, you're seeing the bad. But real late last night, after I uploaded my video, Jimbo Fisher in an interview said one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. I'm not even going to show you the interview, it's not worth me throwing it up on the screen, but a reporter asked Jimbo what was his message and what is his message to all the new recruits. And when I say the quote-unquote new recruits, I'm referring to the kids who he's currently recruiting in high school. Oh, brother, I can't believe he said this. He said, word for word, they see opportunities. Everybody says, why go somewhere that's winning all the time? I may not play for a while. For those of you that don't quite understand that, let me dumb it down even more, because I understand it could be confusing. Basically, Jimbo is saying that these players are looking at A&M and going, yeah, they may be losing, but that means there's more opportunities to get on the field because they're having missing pieces. Another way to say it is recruits are like, well, why would I go to Georgia or Alabama because they're winning so much? Maybe they don't need me. I'd be better off going to Texas A&M because they suck right now, so I could probably start right away. I hope that makes sense. I can't dumb it down any more than that, but let me explain something to y'all because I've been through the recruiting process. When I was getting recruited out of high school and I was taking some of my visits here and there, I never once looked at a team that was recruiting me, saw they was losing, and said, hey, that means there's a better opportunity for me. Never, never, never in a million years did that, and I know a bunch of other athletes that think the same way. No athlete looks at a losing team and gets excited and goes, oh man, that means there's a great opportunity for me. It don't work like that. And if your brain thinks that way, maybe you're not a real athlete. And I was getting recruited by some really small schools, and I knew I wasn't all too good. Of course, to your average athlete, yeah, I was good, but compared to the major D1 ranks, no, I was average. Let me offer y'all some insight. Growing up, I had a friend who was getting recruited by Bama, Ole Miss, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Florida, all the big time schools you can think of. He was a 4-star recruit, and I'm not going to tell you his name because he doesn't want to be mentioned. And for those of you that are curious, let me clarify this. He was getting recruited for football. And I also had some other associates, not really friends, but people I knew that were also getting recruited by these schools. And never, let me repeat this, never once did any of these people I knew that was getting recruited by Bama, Georgia, all these schools say the fact that Alabama was winning so much, it was a turnoff. Never once did any of those people tell me they saw a team losing all the time and they looked at it as an opportunity where they could go start. All of them told me the same exact thing, and I had this same mindset, but it was on a smaller scale. Every single one of them told me, I want to go to a great program that's a great fit for me that can possibly take me to the next level. For me, going to the next level wasn't even an option, but for them it was. You have to understand something, and I really want y'all to think about this and try to take it in. These kids that are getting recruited by Ohio State, USC, Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama, all these major D1 schools, they're the best of the best on their high school team, and they're more than likely a 3, 4, 5-star recruit. They are the man at their high school. Every single player on Alabama, even the third stringers, were the best player on their high school team, and probably the best player in their county and region, or whatever you want to call it. So you know what that means? They all have an ego, and they're all confident in their own abilities and their own self. These 4 and 5-star recruits that are in the Southeast, and I talk to a bunch of them on a regular basis, they don't look at Georgia and Alabama winning and go, oh my goodness, they're winning. They probably don't need me. I would never start there. No, they don't think that way. You know what they think? They're going, hey, they want to offer me. I'm the best in my area, and when I get there, I'm going to start from day one. Now, does that happen? No, but a lot of them think they can make an impact from the jump. A real competitor and a real athlete doesn't get scared of a team's success and wants to shy away from that. And matter of fact, it's the opposite. He wants to be a part of it. I'm sorry for the rant, but Jimbo Fisher is lying to y'all, and a lot of people will take his word for it, and I'm here to tell you it's false. I'm going to say this and we'll get a move on. Great players want to play with other great players. It's as simple as that, because guess what? If you're a great player on a bad team, it's going to make you look worse. But if you're a great player on a great team, it's going to make you look better. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think Alabama's wide receivers, when they had Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Jalen Waddle, and Devontae Smith all on one team, they were all so good? That's the reason. Since they were all first-round talents, you couldn't double-team a single one of them. You couldn't double-team Henry Ruggs and Jalen Waddle because you had to worry about Jerry Jeudy and Devontae Smith. That's what I'm talking about. But for example, say Jalen Waddle would have went to Tennessee 4 or 5 years ago, yeah, you could have double teamed him because he's the only good wide receiver. A&M's a train wreck, and the more Jimbo speaks, the more he sounds like a complete idiot. Speaking of A&M, might as well throw this in there. Ole Miss's head coach Lane Kiffin, the fan favorite, you all know him. Here's what he had to say about the Aggies stealing DJ Durkin. He said, quote unquote, we got outbid, kind of a common thing with that program. I'm not going to say too much about that. Let me know your thoughts on Kiffin speaking out. But now finally, the main topic, the main encore, the main reason you clicked onto this video, we got to talk about Bryan Harsin kicking off these players, or I guess he's asking them to leave. Never, and I mean never in my life, have I seen a situation quite like this where a head coach is telling players they got to enter the transfer portal or quit the team. You know why Bryan Harsin is doing this? Because players are wanting a red shirt so they can retain their eligibility without using it up this season. But according to the reports, you see it right here word for word, Coach Harsin is reportedly refusing to allow players to take a red shirt without medical reason. If you're wondering why these players are wanting a red shirt, it's because more than likely they haven't played a lot this year and they want to retain that eligibility. It gets worse though, so pretty much with Bryan Harsin saying, hey, you can't retain your eligibility and stay on the team, so players are just saying, all right, and they're leaving. It looks like a lot of players are about to leave, but right now, Walker has left and Landon King has also left. You know Matt likes his fun facts. Here's a good one for you. If you're an Auburn fan, you might want to mute this, turn away, or just click off the video. Auburn signed 18 recruits in the class of 2021. 8 of those players, and I think it's up to 9 now, have left the program, including 5 of the 10 highest rated signees. Wow, wow, and wow. That's all I know to say. I'm drawing a blank here. I'm happy I'm not an Auburn fan or a Texas A&M fan. It is looking bad. Most of y'all know I got sources all in Tuscaloosa and in the Auburn area, and they've already told me that they've let Harsin know he's going to be fired by the end of the season. You don't got to be a rocket scientist to even figure or try to guess that. I think everyone knows that's going to happen. But I'm starting to think they might need to pull the trigger right now. The reason I say that is because Landon King, I believe he's a tight end. They wanted to switch over positions. I don't know. It's something like that. Correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. When he announced that he's transferring, he didn't say anything about Bryan Harsin in his message. And his message, as you can see right here, it's really long. And don't worry, I'm not going to bore you and read all that. If you're an Auburn fan and you're hoping it's going to get better anytime soon, you better brace yourself because it's not. If anything, it's going to get worse. And I mean much worse. You better brace yourself because I think more and more and more players are going to continue to leave this program. I can't blame the players because I don't know why you want to be a part of it at this moment. I'm very curious, Auburn fans. I know we got a bunch of y'all watching this. Let me know. Who do you want to replace Harsin? Because it's a given he's going to be fired. I think, for me, I've said this since day one. I'm going to stick with it. Deion Sanders. He's a must. But if you can't get Deion, you might want to look at Hugh Freeze, who's at Liberty. I'm not going to kick a man when he's down because everybody's doing that. But this is one thing I was right on ever since Harsin got to Auburn. I tried telling people that he wasn't going to do anything. The SEC is a different breed. And if you're from the Southeast, you know that. Trust me, ask Tennessee fans. If you do not have the right head coach and a great head coach, you're going to get eaten alive and you will be embarrassed. That's what you're seeing with Jimbo Fisher and A&M, and that's what you're also seeing with Bryan Harsin. Do I think his coaching career's over? No. know. I'm sure he'd be fine like at a Boise State where he recently was, somewhere out west. May even do good in the ACC or Big Ten, but not the SEC. He's not cut out for it. Who knows what's going to happen from this point on, but I will keep you guys updated. You already know. I am very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below, but right away.